Francesca Martinez is a writer and comedian and was speaking at the march just a couple of hours ago. And Ryan Bourne is from the Institute of Economic Affairs. Ryan, first, I mean, it was quite a turnout. It does show the strength of feeling, doesn't it?
It was quite a turnout, but of course we've just recently had a general election in which two parties which had signed up to the Conservative fiscal framework, the Conservatives and UKIP, got around 50% of the vote. So, you know, protests happen across a range of areas, but I wouldn't sort of suggest that this was completely representative of the electorate. Of course, there's about 60 other million people who decided to stay at home today.
Well, Francesca, that's a very good point, isn't it?
Yeah, but I don't think it's a great point because I think there's huge opposition to austerity. I also think the Conservatives and also your right-wing think tank are big fans of free market ideology, which is exactly the ideology that caused the financial crash. But so I don't think we should be taking huge notice.
OK, but that ideology won the election, though, didn't it?
Well, if you consider 24% of voters voted the Tories, I don't think that's an overwhelming majority. I also think austerity has been repackaged as that we've got to tackle government overspending when the crash was caused by the illegal and the irresponsible behaviour of the financial sector. So I think it's so important to remember that the Tories are actually using austerity as an excuse to bring in neoliberal policies such as disbanding the welfare state and shrinking the state.
Well, Ryan, you could cut the deficit by getting rich people to pay their taxes, couldn't you?
Well, I think if it was that easy to do that, some governments would have already done it. Look, the simple fact is, over the last 60 years, whatever government has been in, whatever the tax policies we've had high tax rates, low tax rates, VAT, no VAT, non-dom rules, and the like. And no government has raised more than about 35% of GDP in tax. That seems to be like the taxable capacity of the UK, and the simple fact is we're spending way over that at the moment. So you've got to reduce spending.
So, and you've got to cut welfare.
No, but my position is this. We have a label called austerity, but what that means is these policies are actually killing people and destroying lives. That is not a justifiable or defensible position. The real reason behind austerity is to erode hope, to increase inequality, and to make people's lives so hard that they don't have a chance to demand better. Austerity is about pushing people into poverty, because poverty is the ultimate form of control. So there's a very sinister, dubious agenda behind it, and I don't think anyone can really defend it, because it's immoral.
Well, can you defend it, these cuts to the most vulnerable people?
Rather than this sort of incredible position of objecting to all government spending cuts, I think where the protesters perhaps should focus is, I personally also think it's fairly immoral at a time when you're sort of protecting all pensioner benefits and increasing the generosity of the state pension to focus first and foremost on making 12 billion of cuts to working age welfare. So I'd suggest that rather than taking this very incredible position of opposing all cuts, perhaps if the protesters looked at the composition of cuts rather than just this blanket opposition to everything, then perhaps they'd get more of an audience in amongst the political establishment.
Well, I think austerity is about trying to redefine what it is to be human, and it's very scary.
OK,
because
Francesca,
it's trying to reduce concepts such as
Francesca, I'm so sorry, we've got to end it there. I'm so sorry, Francesca. Ryan. Thank you very much for joining me.